What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to a new episode of Transcending the Culture. I am one half of the dynamic duo that we are, James, and I got my girl here, my cuz. Listen, I got Cat Queen here with me. What's up, Cat?
Hey, everybody.
Oh, you doing the Tiffany style today.
For the,
okay.
for the OG Transcenders. What's up, y'all?
Right. Listen, we got to bring Tiffany back. But listen, y'all, I am excited to be on the show tonight. Listen, y'all got to give us our props because, like, we are on time tonight. Like, we was ready. We might be a couple minutes. But listen, we are cooking. You know, like as they say, let it cook. We are cooking. We got an amazing show tonight. Listen, we have. I'm gonna just go ahead and say like some pop R&B like royalty in the building tonight. Y'all are getting ready to hashtag FAFO as we talked about before we actually went live. Find out what it is. This is the real deal tonight. Really, really exciting. We are doing really good. Welcome. As you know, this is season 3, episode 2. So we got a lot in store for you guys throughout the season, but definitely tonight. A whole lot of stuff going on with the company, with the network, with UGD as a whole. We have a new digital issue out right now. So if you guys have not had a chance to see all of the posts that we have put out throughout the day or check out the website, make sure you get over to ugdigital.com. We do have a new digital issue out. We have booking agent Coco Lynn on one cover. We have Miss Monet on another cover, which y'all got to know who Miss Monet is.
I got to know.
She is musical royalty as well, R&B royalty. She has been in this business for well over 20 years. I'm really going to say 30 some odd years. She's been out here for a long time. Cousin to Raphael Sadiq. Her dad was did background vocals for Marvin Gaye. She has been in this business. She has an amazing single out right now, which, listen, I love anybody that samples, number one, Dionne Warwick, but samples, or not samples, but because she actually did a cover. So I want to make sure that I get
okay.
No behind the scenes. But You're Gonna Need Me by Dionne Warwick. And if you guys remember, Usher sampled that for it was on that Confessions album. He sampled
okay.
for one of his songs. So anybody that samples that, I just love it. And she did an amazing job on the cover of that song. So she is on the second cover of UG Digital for the January issue. And then we have a third cover, which don't know magazines do that, but you know we different. We do what we want to do. So third cover is our PR client, Mamta Ja Mishra. So Cat Queen, you are very familiar with Momta.
Listen, us autism moms got to stick together, okay?
Listen. I think it's amazing. So we got these 3 covers
Mhm.
that are out there now on ugdigital.com, so you guys can check that out. You can also hit our website for the podcast network and the radio station. That is UGD Podcasting and Radio.info, where you can catch all of our past episodes of the show, all of the past episodes of the other platforms that are on the network as well. You got Soap Dish, you got Open Letters to a Survivor, you got Reese, Real Talk with
Real
Reese.
talk with Reese.
So many different platforms that are on there. And then the radio station is coming back. We are relaunching on another network. So that's going to be moving. That's going to be cooking again in February. There's so much stuff happening. But all of that aside, we are going to get into, what we are really here for tonight, which is our amazing guests. So, I'm sorry. Did you have anything that you wanted to get out there, Cat Queen?
I think you pretty much summed it up. I'm ready to get
I'm
into
just
this
moving
interview.
along. I'm like, wait a minute. I ain't even let Cat breathe. What?
It's cool, cuz. Come on. You a runaway train. I'm with you. I'm riding. Come on.
Okay, so listen, everybody. Tonight here on Transcending the Culture, we are joined by an artist whose journey speaks to resilience, reinvention, and real artistry. She is a
Yes.
Boston native, a powerhouse vocalist, songwriter, and a woman who has seen the music industry from the inside out, across eras, trends, and transformations. From her early days in the group Lady Soul. Now, if y'all are in my age bracket, do you know about Lady Soul? You know about Sister Act 2. Like you know it. You know what's going on. So, from her early days in the group Lady Soul to her recent solo projects. Listen, I can barely ever read all that. And to her recent projects like the Phaedra EP, she has never stopped evolving, never stopped choosing authenticity over shortcuts. Tonight, we welcome pop artist, pop sensation, R&B artist, Phaedra, to the Transcending the Culture family. We are so happy to have her here on the platform, and let's get her up on the screen right now.
Hey.
Hello.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Listen, we, as I said before we went live, we are so excited to have you here because this is purpose and passion for us. So like where everybody is looking for money, and don't get it twisted, we're looking for some money from somewhere. But it is purpose and passion, and we are doing what we love, even when life is life. And I think for both of us, we kind of had a 3-month period, which we're kind of at the end of now. But like life was
we coming out of it. We're coming out of it.
Yeah, life was life and for real. So it's really cool when we can have, amazing guests like yourself come onto the platform, people who we look up to, people who we cherish in this industry. And we really look to kind of follow in those footsteps, whether we're singing or not. We see all of the magic that you are making and what you're doing, not just in the industry, but for the culture. And we talk culture all the time, but we want to see so much for us as a people. And we really work diligently to bring the people on here who we think are really forwarding the culture and really building something. So when you came up, it was like, we got to figure this out, work this out. I talked to Tangi Monday, and I'm like, Tangi, you got to work this out for me. Like, you got to work this out. I'm like, I said, I had a guest. My guest kind of dropped out. I said, you got to fit her in here somehow. We got to do that.
I'm glad it worked out. Trust me.
Thank you so much. I will. I'm gonna let you start off, Kat.
Okay. Well, James, welcome you. And we really like, I feel like I'm on a personal journey of finding like real artists and real music. As the average consumer, I'm kind of, I'm tired of the same old. I'm tired of the, 1-minute song, ain't no chorus, ain't no rhyme into it, it's nothing behind it. There's no vocabulary, there's no feelings. So when you come across an artist as yourself, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. I was listening to your single on Apple Music, Feelings. Listen, Listen, feelings. It's like, oh, and the thing is, I feel like we get in these situationships and things, and and people get in their feelings. So, can you please talk about the single and just the inspiration behind it?
Yes. So, how Feelings came about is, first of all, I do have a project that I'm so excited about. It's called Heart of a Woman. It's an entire body of work. But in the meantime,
Mm,
I was getting impatient. And one of my favorite producers, who's here in Boston, American Antagonist, he was playing me some tracks. And I heard the music track to Failings. And I said, whoa, hold up. That sounds special. It just had a sonic sound that I felt
mhm,
like R&B, hip hop, even for jazz, believe it or not. I'll tell you about that later. And he kept playing the track over and over. And the lyric and melody came to me instantly because I was at a place in my life where I had um, just left a very long-term relationship. And during that
mm,
time, um, there were feelings, there was something going on with someone from my past, and I just started writing pen to pad what was really going on in my life, and it just
mm.
clicked really quickly.
Wow. I think it's best when art imitates life, when you can really pull from what you're going through, and pour it into songs. Sometimes we get artists that, they get these songs written from them and it's great. They're great songs, but I don't feel it from them. It's kind of a disconnect. So it's wonderful when you have somebody that can do that. And get us all in our feelings. Uh, and then we got to talk about the remix because my cousin James is the king of he got the remix to the remix to the remix. Every time I be like, James, what song is this? It'd be a whole different original. He'd be like, you don't know nothing about this, girl. I'm like, oh. Um, so you have a remix to the song, and you have, we are James is in Cleveland. I do a lot of work out of Cleveland. So we have somebody that Cleveland holds near and dear on this remix. So can you tell our transcenders who is on the remix and how that came about?
Absolutely, the one and only icon, Crazy Bone from Bone
Ba
Thugs and
bum 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 bum
yeah, boom,
bum bum.
boom, boom, boom. I love Cray. We've been working together for God, probably 10 years, so to say. A lot of people don't know this. So when I lived in Los Angeles, I had the honor and privilege with my team that I was working with, Artist Live. Um, Artist Live was responsible for signing Bone Thugs and Harmony to their deal at Warner Brothers, and they hadn't been together as a unit for quite a long time. So I was fortunate enough to hang out in the studio with all the members and watch them record. And during that process, I contributed a lot, lyric and melody, to a lot of the hooks. And
Wow.
Cray kind of caught on to that and said, hey, I have a studio in Anaheim, California. If you want
Mhm.
finish recording, doing what I want to do, why don't you take my studio over for free and just
Oh,
write some hooks for me, and if I fail them, I'll come in the next day and I'll start cutting them. And that's how we started formulating a close working relationship. And it was such an honor and privilege to have him not only on this song, but to be on a couple of records with Bone as well.
that's such a high honor. James is like their biggest fan. Like when I say their biggest fan,
I'm
their
a,
biggest.
so you
Trust
know
me,
what?
yes, I'm just as big of a fan as he is, believe me.
Let me tell you. See, Kat, you just messed me up because I said as we were preparing for the interview, I knew about what you had did with Crazy Bone because I follow everything that they do.
Okay.
Obviously being from Cleveland and following them since the very beginning, like even
Mhm.
before the ETE days, like following them.
Mhm.
And I've been doing media, it's been 25 years now. So like
Wow.
when I first got started, I really credit them because they were some of the first people like who I was able to actually interview. And I mean, this was
Mhm.
like back in the early 2000s, like 2003, 4, 5. Like, so
Wow.
I've been supporting them really kind of since the beginning. And, times change. And I think that, obviously with their increasing popularity and all of the stuff that they do, and they got so much different stuff going on, whether it's group wise or solo, it's hard to get any of them now, let alone trying to get any of them together. So I probably have been, and people like Kane will send me stuff and I'll repost it and put stuff up on like Instagram and that sort of thing, or any of the artists. It's like crazy hard. And then everybody will be like, all he talk about is Bone. He always talking about Bone. And he always that. So I was like, I ain't gonna bring up Bone tonight. I said I'm gonna leave it alone. I hear Kenny is like, oh Bone.
You can bring them up. They're like brothers to me.
Yeah, and it's
They were
actually
the first
cool.
rap group I fell in love with, and to be able to be in the studio with them after having that dream of wanting to work with them is just amazing within itself.
And it's cool because like they're really smart behind all of the stuff that they do. So they don't just pull nobody along and just be playing no games or nothing. Like they have a lot of stuff like with people who they have brought into the industry who have done, extremely well, you being one of them. So no, it really is cool to, see everything that you guys have done together. And I know that you've done, more than just that single, but you've, been on tracks and that sort of thing too. So that's exciting though.
Thank you. Yeah.
For sure. They have such a unique sound, and it's such a foundational sound in hip hop and R&B and the genre that they were, the meld the two. They were some of the first that really did the gangster rap and the singing and the R&B, and it is something undeniable in our culture. So we're talking about that sound. Can you tell our viewers about your sound? How do you want the people to perceive you? What is your audience? What should they expect from you and your music?
Well, first and foremost, I come from the church. So I come from a spiritual background as a very young girl. But I grew up listening to people like Tina Marie and Shaka Khan, Aretha Franklin. So that's always going to be my foundation, R&B. Now, I do realize that I have kind of a pop sound, urban soul pop, but it's very different. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised when they hear the project. It's amazing. There's some huge records on there. And I'm extremely proud. I collaborated with some wonderful people. 1500 Rand Stopson from 1500 or Nothing. They're a huge production team that did all of Nipsey Hussle's stuff. Rest in peace, Nip. And it's just an amazing album. So I'd say, R&B, urban pop, you could say.
And I think of it more as, like you said, urban pop, R&B. I love to see people who really have that blend of different styles, different genres, and it's not just kind of monotone and kind of like the rest of the stuff that's out there.
I think some people, especially in the Black community, are scared to go outside of their comfort zone and dip into those different genres. And the thing is, everything originated from us anyway, so it's like we really can't cut off any genre, any rock or jazz or pop or anything, because it's like we did it first. So you really can't, don't be scared to dip your toes in the water. Listen.
And there's still soul. You can still feel soul in some pop music. It's, you know what I mean? It's different. It all just depends on where your roots are and what your sound is. So, when you're as seasoned as I am, I might hear some songs that I love, but I know what I can sing that's going to sound well, and what I love, but I shouldn't sing because I might not have the right tone or certain things. So that comes with time.
And that comes with, really working in the industry and doing the work and doing the background and knowing what's best for you and your voice, So I think a lot of people could really learn from you. Thank you for sharing with me. And I will definitely have some more questions, and I'm going to pass it over to James.
Sure.
So I would love for you, obviously for some of the people who are on here who may not have heard a lot about you, I would love for you to kind of go back a little bit like towards the beginning, because you come from Boston, and many amazing people come from Boston. Like, listen, all we got to mention is New Edition coming out of Boston. And it's like,
Yeah.
And then you were discovered, you were, kind of formed by what's his name? Maurice
More,
Starr.
yeah, Maurice Starr was
Yeah.
the very
And he
beginning
was
for
behind them.
He was the reason for them as well.
Yeah.
So when I was a young girl, he had something called Hollywood Talent Night, which was at the Lee School in Dorchester, Mass. And they were constantly having talent shows, and you really got to see some amazing talent. There was so many girl groups and solo artists and that kind of a thing. And so I'm trying to think, was I in a group at the time? I think I was singing in a group at the time when Maurice spotted me, and they were
Okay.
a lot older than I was at the time. And he said, "You need to be solo. You have something special. I want to work with you." And so he sent his brother over to get my number. We exchanged numbers. And at the time, he was working with New Kids on the Block on their album.
Right.
After he had discovered, everyone knew him as discovering New Edition and putting that whole situation together. And so while he was working with New Kids on the Block, I started recording with him. And he ended up putting me in a group formerly known as 9.9,
Okay.
and changed the name of the group from 9.9 to Lady Soul because two of the members of the group had left to go gospel.
Okay.
And they had All of Me for All of You that were signed by Richard Dimples Fields. And so we had a gold record from the Sister Act soundtrack with Whoopi Goldberg. And that's really how I started working with Maurice. I sang background on, a lot of people don't know this, but Alfonso Ribeiro had a song out called Not Too Young that Maurice Starr had recorded on him. This is before he was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all of that.
And see, I've kept up with him since what, Silver Spoon? Like I've kept up with him, like, since the beginning too, but I didn't realize he had a song. And I knew he sang and danced and all of that stuff, but I didn't realize he had a song though.
Yeah, he did. The song was called Not Too Young. And I remember it came out on Valentine's Day because the product that they gave me was kind of in the shape of a Valentine. And, anything that Maurice was working on at the time when his hand was hot with New Kids, I was able to sing background on a lot of the stuff he worked on.
That's gotta be, that has to be exciting when you're trying to break into the industry and you're getting placed and doing background on all of these huge projects that are like,
oh, absolutely
blowing up. That has to be really exciting.
It was, and you learn a lot because recording is so totally different from performing live.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned my chops and knowing how to do everything on my own to this day. Yeah. I go in the studio, you give me a blank track, and I'll do everything: lyric, melody, stack vocals, do the leads, ad libs. That comes from years of experience. Yeah.
So you basically became the group.
Yeah, I can make myself sound like a huge choir.
I think that is like super dope. Did you have any idea, like, if you can think back to that time, did you have an idea of what you felt like you wanted your sound to be, or were you just kind of I don't want to say going with the flow, but just kind of building?
I mean, I always wanted to do really the core of me, I would say, is R&B, soul R&B. I always knew that's what I wanted to do. But a lot of people who I came across always said to me, "Faye, you're so much bigger than that. You're biracial, you appeal to a massive audience. Your sound also transcends into, big pop records." But I said, I still have to start off in the core, which is me, which is R&B, soul music.
Now, being connected to like a legendary and legacy producer like Maurice Starr, at that time of your career, what do you felt like that moment taught you the most about the music business and just, the business side of music?
That's the side that I don't like, is the business.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this business, your talent is such a small part compared to, being at the right place at the right time. For me, if that's what God has for you, that's what God has for you. It's timing. It's, having someone that you click with that gives you a good sound. It's so many moving parts to being able to make it to the people that you want to make it to. And that could take up a whole hour within itself. of course, everyone has vision and a dream for what they want. Things didn't happen the way that I wanted to,
Right.
but when I look back, I feel like that's what was meant to be, because
Yes.
through my success that I've had now, even behind the scenes, it just makes you appreciate it more. And when I listen to some of the sounds from back then, I'm so glad that I don't have that to play. but, but you know, it's a learning process, and I'm just blessed and fortunate enough to be
Absolutely.
doing it since I was young.
Like it says, to me, it speaks volumes. You know, just the fact that you have maintained longevity. I mean, you think back to, you know, that time. I mean, Sister Act 2 was that the 90s, or was that into the 2000s?
Yeah, I towards the end of the 90s, I believe, and it was actually
Yeah, because Lauryn Hill was in it,
yes,
and
with Sister Act 2, I was Sister Act 1. Yeah.
I mean, but that's like, you know, for you to have done that in that time frame, and it is now 30 years later, and you are still here looking beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
You are working with the biggest names in the industry. Like, that speaks volumes, because like there's people who theoretically have it together and they don't last but a couple years. And you know,
be able to yourself and change with the times.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I always stayed in the background other than the group. Because I just wasn't ready to be in the forefront like I am now.
I mean, but it's like, you got to take your time with it, and there's nothing wrong with, like you said, being in the background. And I mean, because look at all that you were able to take and all that you were able to learn, and you know, all the stuff that you have together now to make yourself a success. And like I mean, clearly you are doing amazing, because we know your music.
Oh, so thank you.
You are doing amazing. I think it's beautiful though. You've seen the industry change dramatically. And you know, just when you think of how things were years ago and now everything is digital, like how have a lot of these changes, essentially what I'm asking is like, how have these changes really affected the way that you move with your career, and you know, how you get your stuff?
Gosh, there's so many moving parts. So, you know, back in the day, to get back in the day, producers, if you connected yourself with a producer, that was the thing, you know, you're signed to so-and-so, signed to so-and-so. And, you know, some of the producers would charge $100,000 a track. You know, if they were really hot, they had $1 million video budgets and all that crazy stuff. You know, it was a door that was hard to get through. Nowadays, with the blizzard of brands and so many artists, which have always been around, but the gatekeepers only allowed so many in, you can do it yourself now.
Yeah, but and I was gonna say too, like that's a big part of it, is that a lot of stuff you can kind of do on your own now, and you got people who are like sitting in their bathroom, or they sitting in the room in the back of their house recording, and sound like they was in the studio.
There's room for everybody, and believe it or not, I mean, I come across artists that I never even heard of, and when I do my research on them, they have millions of fans. So you don't have to just be big in the mainstream. There are people making a great living that you may not see in the mainstream, but some people have cult followings. Some people just have followings from starting off from home. There's definitely a lot more opportunities for people doing it yourself, but you know, you have to attach yourself to brands. Sometimes for me, I've been fortunate to have songs that have been attached to movie soundtracks, which has helped my visibility a whole lot, thanks to Jeff Clanagan at Code Black and Artist Live. But, you know, there's not really a playbook on how to be successful. It's just kind of networking and being at the right place at the right time, and, you know, trying different things. But there's definitely a lot more opportunity for more artists, because there's thousands of artists that come out weekly.
When you listen to your music, you know, like your most recent music, and really all of your music, when you listen to it, it seems very intentional. Like you know what you want to get out there, and it seems very intentional. Like, talk about your mind state when you're in the recording process and putting your projects together, like the Phaedra EP.
Absolutely. So for me, my process is I generally have the producer play me a couple of tracks, or I might already know the track that I'm working on before I go in because I've heard a bunch of tracks.
Yeah.
So for recording, right? It's really a vibe, believe it or not. There's certain studios that you can be more creative. It is about a vibe for an artist when you're recording. So I go by the music first, and while I'm listening down to the tracks, as soon as I hear something that I love sonically, the melody comes to me, and I just basically drop the lyrics in the pocket of the melody that I hear, and that's how I start to create. Sometimes the verse comes first, sometimes I might just hear a hook, which is what I generally try to start off with, and I just tell a story, whether it's my story, maybe a friend's story. Oh, it's, I don't know, it's like a spirit that talks to you and tells you what the song should be about. Generally.
I'm smiling because I'm just like, that's a legend talking. Like just listening to you explaining the process, it's just like this is why she been here for this long. Like, do you ever feel like people underestimate you? Like when you're in the process and recording and trying to put your stuff together, do you ever feel underestimated?
Not so much in the studio, because generally if I'm called to come in the studio with someone, they kind of know my history or have worked with me or heard about what it was like working with me. The thing that I find funny, and when you talk about someone underestimating me, is I think when you have a certain image, people think you sound a certain way and only have a certain amount of ability.
Yeah.
And then they hear you, you kind of catch them off guard because they go, oh, I didn't expect to get that. You know what I mean? So that part I kind of like, but yeah, it's true. Sometimes people can underestimate you, but you know, there are artists, there are singers, there are creatives, there are entertainers. There's so many versions to the art of music of different artists, you know?
Yeah, and going back to, you know, just the fact that, you know, you blending genres together, and, you know, I love that. I think that is one of the things that really makes you stand apart. Fantasia is one of my cousins. And
I love Fantasia.
Even with like
Fantasia are my favorite.
Yeah. And even with her doing, you know, with her whole rock soul movement, and like, I think it's amazing to blend the different styles, because just like Kat said, like all of these different genres and all of the stuff that's out there, it started with us anyway. But the reality is a lot of younger kids, they don't really know the history.
They don't know.
So when they hear artists, you know, I think that's why you get so many artists now who are sampling from the 90s and sampling from the 80s and in the early 2000s, like the Chris Brown and like all these people who are going back to that time of music, because I think it's a good thing. And I think it's one of the things that really makes you stand apart. And
I get a kick out of it when I tell young people today, you know, they think they've discovered something new, and I would say to them, oh, that's an old record. So and so did that a long time ago. And they're like, prove it to me. And then
my son do that all the time.
Listen, that ain't nothing new, but
yeah, my son do that all the time.
The crazy thing about me is I'm a 90s baby, so I don't think something is from the 90s, and I'll be like, oh, y'all know nothing about that, and James will be like, you don't even know nothing about that, because that's somebody from that. I'd be like, it got remade. Dang, I thought I knew something. But I think that's beautiful. I think it's just like, it reminds me of you know, ancestors or your grandma passing on a recipe. Like, it's, you know, we got to keep these recipes going. And I did want to touch on that because it's so funny, because like Sister Act 1 and 2 have been going viral on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but
I didn't know that. No.
Kids are watching it and, you know, seeing these stars, especially like, you know, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Lauryn Hill, and a lot of them that they didn't know were in it younger. So they're even just now finding out about soundtracks. Kids nowadays are now just really finding out about full soundtracks, and it's really going viral now. So I really love that that they can go back and, you know, get this connection, because I miss a good soundtrack with the
I was gonna say, I used to love a good soundtrack, man. Like
back in the day, soundtracks broke a lot of acts.
Yes.
Boomerang soundtrack and a bunch of other soundtracks broke a lot of Tony Braxton, a lot of artists,
Mhm.
so
And a lot of times, artists, if they didn't have something that was so successful, maybe single wise, they'll throw it on a soundtrack and then boom, they get that publicity. So it's just something I really, really really miss. My sister is on here commenting. This is my sister Katia. She said we grew up on the Sister Acts. On
Yeah.
hey,
the Sister
Katia!
Acts, yes. But I tell you that we was oh my gosh, and I always wanted to be the the lady that used
Yeah,
to be doing
Right.
the opera,
yeah,
because that's my thing. But I miss those things. I miss those homey movies. And then like whenever we would watch a movie, my mom for Christmas would get us the soundtrack. So we would have Soul Food, we would have Sister Act, we would have even the Rugrats had Maya and Blackstreet on there.
Uh-huh.
Like I miss that, and I think that that's something that I really wish would come back, because I think that's just a part of it. I think it's kind of like a missed opportunity.
it is.
Um, and I also miss talent shows. When you talked about that, that's something in me it just hit my heart, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
thinking about like even acts, like Boyz II Men and even Outkast back in the day, and getting your friend together, practicing for months.
Mm-hmm.
And really developing sounds and things. They were developing themselves and not really knowing it,
Yeah,
because they were preparing for these talent
mhm.
shows.
Very true.
So that is just so amazing that you live these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just shows how well-rounded of an artist
Absolutely.
you are.
Thank
Um, you said your new project is going to be Heart of a Woman.
you.
How do you feel
Mhm.
all these experiences in your life has shaped your view and your heart as a woman and the artist you are now?
A whole lot. I personally feel like if you haven't really lived, you don't really have anything to pull from,
Right.
or
Hmm.
talk about. I mean, the little things that I did throughout my childhood and teens and growing up,
Hmm.
that all became my story today.
Yeah.
And what I thought was small, when I look back, I'm like, oh wow, that's incredible. I really do have a story to tell. Um, I think as a grown woman now, I hope to inspire those, like, to never give up. You can always reinvent yourself. There's so many platforms and things you can do
Hmm.
as a singer. It's not always about being the big star or the focal point. Like you said, there's soundtracks, there's voiceovers, there's going on tour singing background with people,
Hmm.
there's recording and writing records for other people. So there's so many different avenues that you can do in creating a career for yourself.
Hmm.
Um, but Heart of a Woman, I'm coming from a woman's perspective on all the different emotions, good and bad, and the things that I've been
Hmm.
through in my life. And at one point, I wasn't really ready to tell my story, but now, I'm hoping that through me telling my story, that I'll inspire um, some of the younger ladies and even the women that have been through. They can relate to. It's very
Hmm.
relatable to not just the grown women, but the younger women, to see that things aren't always great, and no matter what you're singing, I'm always singing from the heart of a woman. That's the
Hmm.
place I come from, through my experiences as a woman.
It's so weird. As a woman, you get to these certain milestones in these ages, and you think this is who I am. This is
Mhm,
what I believe. This is what I
mhm.
want. And
Yeah.
then 5, 10 years go back, and you be like, I was a fool. Like I was a dang fool. You know. So it's like you said, you have to go through those experiences to learn. Like you
Yes.
have to. I remember I was I sometimes go live with different people on TikTok, and we had like a panel going, and people were just, we were sharing embarrassing stories, like, oh, this one time I dropped a whole slushy on me at the mall in front of everybody, so we're talking about this, and I got probably more. I'm clumsy, so I got more stories than a little bit. But
Mhm.
I was talking to someone, and he was like, I can't really think of anything, and he kept saying, come back to me, and I'm just like, you, sir, need to go outside. You need to go live. You need to go
And
meet
go
some
live,
people,
right?
travel, because it's just that is what shapes you, and as an artist, that is what feeds you.
Yeah,
So.
experiences. I mean,
Mhm.
they always say you're born with a blank white sheet as a mind,
Mhm.
your mind, and through your experiences, that's what shapes and molds you, is based off of the experiences that you've had as a child and just growing up in general. Yeah.
Mhm. I saw a YouTube performance that you did.
Oh God.
Um,
Which one?
And he said, "Oh, where the cameras at? Hold on." That's how I be. People be like, "I seen you online." I'm like, "Doing what?
Uh-huh.
What was I doing?" Because
Is it one
knowing
I
me,
approved and that
is
I
it? Is
did?
it? You're right. Is it? Am I looking okay? Am I acting rationally? But it's certain songs and certain things that Black people, especially in the R&B community, don't play about. They hear the song and everybody get the grooving.
Mhm.
And I heard "Make It Last." I said, "Oh shoot, hold on,
Oh
make
yeah,
it last forever." When
yeah,
I said, and I heard you singing, I'm like, "Oh yes, this music to my ears." So
yeah.
can you just talk about that performance? Because I really found it really entertaining.
Oh God. So a lot of people may or may not know I did a Christmas album called Love at Christmas. Wrote the entire thing, and it got in the hands of Teddy Riley through a friend of mine, Bernard Alexander. He heard it, he loved. There were two songs in particular that he loved, so he did his thing on it and took it to a whole nother level. So I developed a relationship with Teddy Riley, and he came to Boston, and
Mm.
we were going back and forth inboxing, and he said, when I come to Boston, you're going to come on stage with my new group, and we're going to do that song, Make It Last Forever. And I said, well, who am I going to sing the duet with? He said, Ray Lavender. I said, oh my God, I haven't seen Ray Lavender in a long time. And I met him when I was living in LA. So he was shocked when he saw me. He's like, I can't believe that this is happening. And he was in my hometown of Boston. So it was great to get that shine at home. And that's really what came about is, lucky for me, an icon and a legend like Teddy reached out, and I was able to do that performance. And I love that song too. So I was like, oh,
And you
Right,
did.
great.
right, right.
I couldn't
You
wait to sing that song.
you
I
did the
feel like
dang
you.
thing. They was screaming. They was just. I was in there like, make it. I was in my room like, yes,
Yeah,
acting like I was there. But when you work with somebody and you have those relationships, it just culminates and it just brings just this spirit. It's just something different.
yeah.
So when I was just watching some of your performances, that was just one that really stood
Oh,
out to
thank
me.
you. Nostalgia. It touched on something that happened way back then.
Ooh. And so, and I know we were talking earlier, and we were talking about that we were in Ohio and stuff, and you had said, "Oh, I spent some time in Ohio." So, what you got some stories for us? What your
Well,
old stopping grounds?
yes, in my earlier years, I used to date a Cincinnati Bengal.
Okay.
I
Mm.
I would travel back and forth to Ohio, and I was like, "What's in Ohio anyway?" Other than Bone Thugs and Harmony, I had a good time. When I was hanging out there, it was really nice. And
Yeah.
then I found out a girlfriend of mine lives in Ohio. But yeah, that used to be my stomping grounds back in the day, back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, where are you stationed now? Like, where you live now?
I'm
The
originally
state.
from Cambridge, Boston, the
Hmm.
Boston, Cambridge,
Yeah.
Boston area. So that's where I'm stationed.
Hmm.
I moved back from LA. I have a house here, girl. I have responsibilities and that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm at home. I'm in Boston, the home of New Kids on the Block and New
Hmm.
Edition and
Yeah.
the rest of
Hmm.
it. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Beantown. Yes, I have a brother that stays there, so I love to go to Boston. There's so many different ethnicities. It's
yeah.
so melted and meld together that I
It
really
really
enjoy
is.
my time. And then in
Mhm.
LA, I lived there when I was younger, so I know a lot of in the '90s, early 2000s, where it was a mecca for sound.
Oh
So
yeah.
it was like, oh, what is I'm coming from Ohio, like, oh, gangster rap. What's this about? Me and my sister learned how to crib walk and stuff. It was just it was
Oh
a
yes.
time.
I
I'm
did
saying
some real living in
we
LA.
was I'm like real living. And actually I did want to give a shout out to my sister Katia Hill. She is relocating to LA.
Oh, good
Um
for her.
yeah, so she is doing acting and she does dancing as well. She graduated from Howard. So
Oh
good
wow.
luck, Katia, and get the guest room ready, baby.
Yeah. Exactly. Go for it, Katia. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Like how was it for you to kind of, I guess in a sense, like step back, like you were living in LA, and then to kind of back away from that and to go back home to Boston, like how was that for you?
Um, I loved LA. Don't get me wrong. There's so many opportunities in LA,
Yeah.
but things had started to change. You know,
Yeah.
I think every decade, like there's something that happens where, you know, the new sounds, the new this. Sometimes at one point I was living there, it was all about hip hop, not so much
Yeah.
R&B. At one point they were saying R&B was gone. But I just knew I had developed myself as an artist. I made a lot of great relationships. And I said, you know, I could, now that I have these wonderful relationships, I can still have them and nurture them, but going back home where I'm from and still have those relationships.
Absolutely.
And I can get on a plane at any time, which I do,
Absolutely.
just, you know, to
Absolutely.
still go there when it's work related. But everyone I met in LA, no one was from there. It's like everyone comes from all over the world to try to make it as an actress or a singer or producer or whatever it is.
Dreams.
And I don't know, I feel like everyone ends up going back home to where they're from after they've done their run, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
It was
And I mean,
definitely an adjustment, especially the weather. And there's not a whole lot of opportunities here in Boston, but I thank
yeah,
God that I've made some good relationships that have kept my
absolutely.
going.
Because that's what is, I mean, that's what a lot of it is really about, are the relationships. It's about who you know and
Mhm.
how you know, nurture and grow those relationships to make them work for you when you are, you know, in another place.
Yeah.
And, you know, I, for one, think it's kind of cool to be away from kind of the limelight, but you still are a part of it. And you can still, like you said, you can jump on a plane at any time. Um,
Exactly.
like I had this big thing at one point where I was like, I need to be in Atlanta. I need to be in Atlanta. But then once I moved down that way, it was like I stayed almost an hour from Atlanta because I was like, I don't want to be in the midst of like Midtown and all of the traffic and all of that, like between 85 and 75. And I'm like, no, I don't want no parts of that. So I was like in Phoenix City, Alabama, which is like right off to the side of Columbus, Georgia. And it's like
Oh,
45 minutes from Atlanta. So,
oh,
but it was cool because, you know, just like you said, you could jump on a plane. It was like I could get in the car and drive to Atlanta and do what I need to do and then get the hell out and go back home and be in the country.
mhm. Exactly.
And it's weird that I actually grew accustomed to living kind of in the country. I was like, shit, I could stay down here forever. And but I think that's cool though. Like in a sense, you know, as I said, like kind of stepping back or stepping away. Like, how do you think that time has reshaped your purpose? You know, just in what you're doing now.
Um, a whole lot because I'm in a different place in my life. I know what this business is. I do it for the passion and I
Yeah,
feel like it's my purpose. I know I'm going to end up in the spiritual um, world, so to say. That's still on my heart. I know God taps me on my shoulder where I would love to do a spiritual project. But right now, I have to get this monkey off my back with this project and some R&B records and things that I've worked on that I'm just ready to release so that everyone can tap in and I can just, you know, see what it is that people like. Because my main thing is I love to perform live, especially
yeah.
with a band. That's my thing. You know, I just
Ooh, I,
know that.
I love a live band. So
It's
that means we need
nothing
to get out and see your show.
better. It's
Mhm.
nothing better than a live performance with a band. It's just different. It's just
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
So now you
Def-
got a reason to come to Cleveland because you need to come and perform and do a live show with a
Listen,
band.
all you have to do is reach out. I'll get on the plane and I'll come perform. If y'all have an event, anything, I'm always willing to do that.
Listen, we're gonna have to get it in our budget to get you out here and fly you out and have you perform in
Absolutely.
something that we put together because like
Absolutely.
I am always here for a live band. Like
Okay.
say less. I am there.
Thank you.
um, what do you want people like walking away from this or like in sense of a takeaway? What do you want people to truly understand about you, you know, beyond the music?
I want them to know that if it is your passion to do music, if that's what you do, whatever it is, never give up. You know what I mean? There's so many, like I said earlier, there's so many things you can do in music. Um, and I just want to be an inspiration to people to say you can reinvent yourself and you can tell your story and um, you'll find yourself in a great place. Like I'm proud of all my accomplishments. I know I have so much more that I would love to accomplish and do, but you know, I just put that in God's hands. You know, He always works it out for me, and wherever He has me to be, that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Um, so my last question, I kind of got a little lightning round for you after this, but my last general question, in this moment, you are still standing, you are still creating, you are still here. Like, what does that feel like in your heart to still be here in this business after all these years?
Honestly, it's a blessing, because so many people that I came up with in music, they quit a long time ago.
Yeah.
I never, I
I
don't
think
know.
so much happens in the business, and like we just talked about the whole business of it. There's so much that happens, and people trying to take advantage of you and run over you and take your money and all of this stuff. Like, it causes a lot of people to step away, and really, the reality is sometimes people end up having to step away to survive, because they get in so much debt, behind people, trying to take over and take things from them.
That's another thing I've been able to do. I've always had a great balance. I've always been able to work and do music. One thing I do know is it's very hard to just rely on the music business if you're not consistently working. So I've just been really blessed to be in great situations where I will have a retirement when I give up on music. And when I retire, I can go on the road and do music whenever I feel like it, because I'm not back at the end of the day. So I always knew that. I always made sure I prepared myself for my future. I made decisions based on that. So, I'm in good hands.
It's funny that you say that. I love the way you just said that. Jill Scott just did an interview. I want to say it was with, because she's done a handful of interviews now, because she has a new album coming out next month.
Yeah.
But I think it may have been her most recent interview with Angie Martinez, and she talked about how she lived in her 20s, and then how she lived in her 30s, and how she lived in her 40s, and now that she's in her 50s, she can work when she goddamn well pleased.
Yeah.
And I think that that's beautiful. You speak to being able to work and have a retirement while you've still been doing music and that sort of thing. So if you ever decided to walk away from this, you still got a retirement. Like, I think that is gold. And I think it's beautiful that you said it, because we need more people who are coming up in this culture to understand that piece of it, that you can follow your dreams and you can do what it is that you want to do, whether it's music or whether it's acting or whether it's, and you can still have kind of a backup plan where you got some money. Like, it's nothing wrong with having multiple streams of income and being able to have something that sets you up for the future, so that then, you don't have to, like you said, so much rely just on the music industry. And that's
I think, when you become a certain age, you kind of know if things are going the right direction, and when they're not, kind of pivot and say, okay, I'm still going to continue to do this, but I have to do this.
That's that word, pivot. That's what they need to know. Pivot. That's it.
Pivot.
Listen, you are magic for the show tonight. Like, I appreciate everything.
Dropping gems. Y'all better clock it. Come on now.
Now, this is cool, because like I said, like, we have a good time on here, and we act a fool sometimes, and especially when we get into Cat Got Your Tongue. Where when she gets into Cat Got Your Tongue, listen, we get into these trending topics and the foolery that these people doing out here in this industry. But on the same token, we really try to create some content that's really going to help the people behind us and help them learn something and move the culture forward. And that's really what the guests who we bring on here are all about as well, is moving the culture forward. So again, that's why it's such magic and such gold to have you here on the platform tonight. Like, I appreciate it so much.
I appreciate it just as much. I love meeting new people. I love hearing and sharing my story. And hopefully one day I'll be able to meet you guys in person. But thank you.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna look up one day and bam, there we are.
It's gonna happen, because when I tell you I got that Frontier Pass, my flights is $15. So my flights are $15. I will, if I need to be somewhere, I will be there. But we're gonna do our best to get you here, and we don't have to fit it into our budget to actually get you here and have you perform as something. And not just that, but like I said, for us, it's really about building the relationship as well. So anything that we can ever do for you, like to support you, to promote, like, I ain't but an email away. Cat ain't but an email away or a DM away or whatever. Like there's so much red tape in this business that I've seen over the last 25 years. So with our company, that's one of the biggest things that I try to do as well is remove the red tape. So like even when I do my radio shows and I'm at any station and I bring somebody in, I'm like, listen, if you just walking by and you like, I want to go, come up, like forget all the red tape and trying to call somebody and see, can you get on the schedule or whatever, just come up or call me or send me a text or send me a, so you are absolutely UGD family now. So when we be telling people that this our cousin, don't act like you don't know us, Phaedra.
Just continue planting feelings and getting the word out there about this record for myself and for Cray. And, you know, like you said, when I have my next single and some other things coming out, I'll make sure to reach out to you.
Make sure you, or if you go to, you know, whether you send something to me or send me a DM or an email, or if you get to Tangi gonna always get it to me. And either way. So like we appreciate you so much for coming onto the platform. Did you have anything else, Kat?
No, I think I got all my little questions off.
Okay. Final words, final comments. Like, do you have anything that you want to get out there? And then I also would love for you to kind of blast out your social media, website, that sort of stuff for people to check you out.
I would love for people to follow me on The Real Phaedra on Instagram, or Phaedra Live on Facebook. I'm on TikTok, Snapchat. I'm on all the platforms. And if you could go on YouTube under Phaedra Butler and hit subscribe, I'm going to start, you know, doing a lot more interesting things. And, you know, I'd love to hear from you, whether you like something, you don't like something, but most importantly, if you could support and come out to see me perform live if I'm ever in your city, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we travel for sure. So we going to see you, whether it's here in Cleveland or if we have to come somewhere and see you. We're going to make that happen. But I appreciate you again so much. We absolutely will do this again, you know, at your leisure, or if you feel like you need to get on or whatever, just let us know. Like we will always make room for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
You too. Have a good night.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Kat, I love you. Listen, we have the best
I just love. I'm telling you, like we've been on a roll with these guests. Like they dropping gems. I told you, I got my handy dandy notebook. Look, I'm writing it down.
Handy dandy notebook. Blues Clues. Okay.
Blues Clues. She said pivots. I think that's something that a lot of people don't know how to do, especially in the entertainment industry.
But
and
you
the
know
thing
what?
about it is, you know, I reinvent myself every 5 years anyway. So.
But life will teach you that, because, like, I mean, it's not like we have not known that. But you know, I didn't say it on. Well, now this is episode 2. Thank you, Katia.
Thank you,
I love you. I don't say much when you be on here, but I love you, Katia. Thank you so much for being on here tonight. And thank y'all so much for supporting Kat, because like I know that Kat is loving what she's doing, and a lot of it is because y'all are supporting. Like, thank you, Katia.
My heart, love you, girl.
Yeah. Life will teach you that, because like, you know, with my little shenanigans that went on for the last 3 months, it was like I had to pivot and I had to do that shit real quick. Because, like if I didn't, like shit was gonna go to hell in the handbasket. And listen, like I had to pivot real quick. But God be working too, all the time.
All the time.
Like
my good sister told me, God is good all the time. Okay.
But
I'm just so blessed with these guests we've been having, and just you know, I do feel like I'm in a transitional period in my life. I'm, you know, things are changing, I'm growing, I'm really, you know, coming into myself as a woman and finding out what I want, what, you know, and it's just nice to, like you said in the beginning, to have these people that inspire us. You know, I don't have to be a singer to pull lessons from what she said. Right. You know, you don't always have to, you know, people got to realize, listen to what people say. And a smart person learns by their mistakes. An even smarter person learns from other people's mistakes.
Absolutely.
You know,
and
so
she spoke on, you know, having a retirement and, you know, her having a job on top of doing the music stuff. And when you have a dream of something like entertainment and music and acting and media, podcast, like all of that kind of stuff, a lot of times you get in this headspace where it's like, I need to just be doing that, and I don't have
Hmm.
time for nothing else. And twice I've been in that head state, and then I've kind of gotten out of it, and then I got back into it. And
Hmm.
I ain't working nowhere for about 3 years because I was doing this kind of stuff. And then it was like when the shit kind of hit the fan unexpectedly, it was like if you had that backup shit, then you don't really
Hmm.
have to worry about it. And a lot of it is about pivot, but it's also
Pivot.
about being smart, about the way that you move. And the reality is we could do this shit on top of doing the other shit that's gonna keep some
Hmm.
money, in the pocket and in the bank and all of that stuff too. So I mean, she gave a lot of gems that, definitely is helping me, but I know it's gonna
Hmm.
help a lot of the viewers who were on here tonight and the people who, have yet to see it. So I think it was dope.
Hmm.
I appreciate her being on here. I appreciate you bringing up the Crazy Bone reference because I wasn't gonna say nothing about it. I wasn't gonna say nothing about it. And I mean,
I
obviously
know
I
you.
knew,
I know you knew. Sure.
but I was like,
I ain't
I'm
have
gonna
to
leave that
question that.
alone. I said I'm gonna leave that alone. Per our conversation that I said
Per,
I'm gonna leave that. I said I'm
per.
gonna leave that alone.
I'm gonna leave that
But it still is
alone.
cool though because one of the cool things is that like he did right by her, like he did
Hmm.
right by her, and he's done right by
Right.
everyone. You know.
Hmm.
So I think that that's really really dope, and it
Yeah.
speaks volumes for his legacy. On top of hers.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it's Ohio legacy, and
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely,
Ohio legend. So I had to ask about it.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, it was nice. I really liked the interview. I really love her sound. So and like I said, I love finding new artists. I'm
Yeah,
tired of listening to the same old, same old. So it's just always nice to find somebody new, especially when you really, if and especially if they working with artists that you already love, you already it's like, dang,
right,
let me just
right.
go ahead and add this song. I already know I'm gonna like it. So
Uh-huh.
definitely shout out to Phaedra.
Absolutely.
Um and then so earlier, let's get into a couple hot topics. We're just gonna
Yeah,
do a couple, just a little bit of cat got your tongue.
that's
Wow,
cool.
just a
That's cool.
little
That's cool.
yum yum yum
That's
yum.
that's cool because there's some shit happening out here, man. First
So
and foremost, look. First and foremost, before you even get into the crazy stuff that's
see
out there,
Tangi,
yeah. Thank you, Tangi. We love you, Tangi. Tangi,
thank you for everything
Tangi.
you
I
do.
I I love you, Tangi, and you know that. You know that, but I
Mhm.
love you, Tangi. Before we get into anything, I really want to send a big rest in peace and a shout out to the family of oh my god, from the Fugees.
Oh yeah, that was just terrible.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I'm so mad now. Um and I've been talking about him all day long. That passed away. The affiliate, because he wasn't in the Fugees, but
John
yeah,
Forte.
John Forte.
Mhm.
Oh my god. And I was just listening
Yeah.
to it's weird because I'm not a 90s baby, but I be calling myself a 90s baby because I'm
Yeah.
so into all of the 90s music and
Uh-huh.
like what's his Staying Alive, that the
Mhm.
food that Wyclef did, the remake of Staying Alive, and John Forte was
Mhm.
on there. Like that's on my playlist. So I just was playing that like last week. Like I was on that part of
Yeah.
my playlist and was just playing that and was playing what's that? It's another song that he did with Wyclef too. And yeah. And then his album, this it's crazy. Just to know
Yeah.
he passed away. And they still haven't,
They
unless more
haven't really
people
said
come out,
it
they haven't
yet.
said how he died. But
Yeah, they
they
said
said a
they're
neighbor found
still.
him laying on the kitchen floor,
Hmm.
or was able to see through the wall.
Yeah.
He was laying on the kitchen floor.
That's so sad at 50 years old, still
Yeah,
so young.
yeah, 50, young. So yeah, rest in peace to him. Shout out to his family. Sending prayers and all that stuff and condolences.
Yeah,
Um,
that was just so sad.
yeah,
It's one of the first like celebrity death of the year. So it's never good to hear that. So
never,
yeah,
never.
rest in peace, and sending all our condolences and love to the family.
Absolutely,
Um
absolutely.
Earlier you touched on Jill Scott's interview with Angie Martinez. Jilly from Philly. Listen, Jilly from Philly ain't
I think
playing.
I know what you're going to start saying, but go ahead.
Jilly from Philly. Listen. A lot of celebrities, they're so used to how press used to be. And, you can go on an interview and you say whatever and, they print it and then that's the end of it. Well, Jill Scott is learning that, sometimes when you come for these inflammatory internet characters, they might just come back on you. So Angie Martinez had asked her, what's one of your guilty pleasures? What's one of the things that, you like to
And see,
indulge
I
in
didn't
that
see the
people
whole
wouldn't?
interview, so I don't know what you finna say. So
Oh,
go ahead.
see, yeah. Oh, you're gonna have to school me then, because I don't, yeah. But so she said, you know what I love? I love watching Blueface and Krishan Rock. So she said, and it's so funny because I'll be talking about them and you be like, I don't know nothing about them. But it's just so funny because she's like, I love them and I love their back and forth, and and I think that he's a pimp, and he had her doing this and doing that or whatever. So it was funny, we all laughed at it, but you didn't forgot about that mama. Now Blueface mama had a show with a
With,
couple
yeah,
inflammatory baby moms, Tokyo Tony, Tia Kemp. So
yeah.
these women do not hold back. So she went on a whole all day rant about Jill Scott, and there was some unsavory comments made about her, just telling her basically, Sheila, shut your up, okay, because we ain't worried about that. So it was just funny because I never thought I'd see the day Jill Scott getting caught out on the internet, but yet here we
Well,
are.
Jill,
So
what's her name was calling her out too. What's her name? The one that was making all the crazy comments about Diddy and um
not sure, but yeah, so
I'm
it
gonna
just
tell
was,
you. You
yeah,
like not sure?
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you.
find out. But it was just so funny, just seeing. It's funny because back in the day, the real stars and the reality stars kind of were separate. They don't really, but now with the internet and just different things, they're mingling. So it's just funny to see these classic celebrities that we're used to, that are media trained, getting into it with the ruffians. Okay, so I just thought it was real funny because I wonder if Jill probably at home like, dang, I didn't want all this. Like, I like to watch the circus, I ain't trying to be a part of it. So it just was real funny that I thought that was funny that came out. But Angie Martinez been really doing her thing. I think a lot of people sleep on Angie Martinez and
Oh
forget
yeah,
how good, she's really a good interviewist. I really like her. I've always really, really liked her. More than some other people that may have surpassed her. But I
yeah.
do like Angie, and I think she's really smart, and she really knows what she's doing with the interviews.
Jaguar, right?
Um Oh, Jaguar. You said
Yeah,
crazy stuff. I should know crazy stuff about Diddy. Jaguar. Duh.
yeah. Jaguar, right. So Jaguar Wright was going in, real deep on Jill Scott too for a long time.
What? I didn't see you. You teaching me something. I didn't know
You gotta go
nothing
back and
about
watch. You gotta go back and watch some of them YouTube videos.
it.
He was going in deep on Jill Scott and Erica Badu and Common and so a ton of people.
A ton of people.
Yeah, a
Wow.
ton of people. So and Jill Scott, she been doing like a round of interviews. I didn't really like her interview with Gilly the Kid.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I just don't think everybody should be everybody shouldn't be podcasting. But
I never, I'm not really a big fan of his, and his style, and a lot of his
yeah,
opinions are just don't align with me. So
everybody
that's not
yeah,
somebody I
everybody
would,
shouldn't be podcasting. And then like
But a lot of times, see, back in the day, you would go on these, you would go on 106 and Park, and you would go see Carson
right,
Daly, and then you would go
right,
see, Barbara Walters, and you would go to Good Morning America. You would go to these. Well, now it's podcasts, it's
yeah,
shows, it's internet things like that, and so it's just different. I don't think that everything
yeah.
don't make sense,
Well,
So yeah.
you just have a lot of people who are doing it. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that you have to be a journalist to be able to do a podcast or anything like that. You don't. But
Right.
I do I do still think that it's important to be able to put together a structured interview.
Mm-hmm.
You know, an interview that's going to really, especially if they are promoting a product or they have something that's coming out or whatever it is, then I think that you should be able to put together an interview that's going to support what it is that they have coming out. And a lot of people cannot do that. So you have, you know, like the interviews that you see on Fat Joe and Jadakiss podcast. Like Fat Joe be all over the place, and it was kind of a cool and funny thing when he was doing like the Instagram thing when he first started doing interviews and stuff like that and having people on. But I just think he just
I like Fat Joe's stories more than I like the interview. I like when he get one,
Yeah.
he got one of his old friends or somebody he
Yeah.
worked with, and they be like, yeah, because back in the day we did such and such and such. That's entertaining.
But
Now,
sometimes
him-
like he'll be
sometimes
playing
it's-
like dumb as shit, like he don't know what the fuck going on, or like he ain't know that this used to happen or whatever. And I'll be like, I sometimes I can't tell if he's being genuine or if he's doing it for the camera. Because a lot of times I'll be like, you've been in this for way too long to not know some of this, know what's going on or whatever. It's almost like on the Breakfast Club with
That's
Jess.
how Angela. I'm about to say, Angela, you used to be like,
Yeah,
oh, I don't know.
Angela, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. They're like, Angela,
Yeah.
you was right there. You used to be talking to such. She'd be like, I don't remember that. I'm like, how
Yeah.
don't you remember?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
I like
you
how
know,
you be like, I don't remember that.
That's how she be every time. I be so mad. They ask her about, because remember she had got into it with Gucci Man and stuff, and they were
I
like,
remember that.
you and Gucci and this and this. I don't know. I don't remember that. You know you remember that, girl. Come on now. Stop on the cat. So there has been a big dip in viewership of her show, but she has not been very consistent, which a lot of these podcasters aren't. They just release episodes when they want to, but for some reason, her viewership has kind of wavered a little bit. It's still good, but she just, she has lip service, and then she has the way up. So it just I think that right now the
I expected so much more out of it.
I expected so much more out of it, and I think that the men that
And
are
I
doing,
don't know that it fits
the
with
Cam Newtons and see, and the thing is, they're actual real life friends, and I don't know if Jasmine has a very and I've been following Jasmine Brand for years. She has a very laid back personality, and sometimes that's not very. I don't know. I just thought it would be. Angela they have similar muted personalities. Sometimes you need a more boisterous, loud, or some I don't know. I just see it just kind of gets a little boring and pedantic. It gets a little I don't know. So I like Angela Yee. She might need to go back to the drawing board, maybe get some different cast or something. But I think the men, the Joe Buttons, the Cam Newtons, the Shannon Sharps are running circles around her when I thought she would be having that type of, success that they're having. So, and then I think the last thing I had wanted to touch on, speaking of Cam Newton, they've been giving him the business. They've been. Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of it, it's the stuff I've been saying for weeks. I've been saying this, but I think it took a couple intelligent women that really know what they're talking about to really expose him for. I mean, they online. I ain't gonna lie, they online calling him an idiot. Okay, they're calling him. He had Lady London on there, and she was asking him about his style, and he kept using. He uses the wrong vocabulary and words and terms for things. He always
all you
does.
have to do is all you have to do is really listen to him for about a 5-minute stretch, and you will come to the conclusion that he is dumb as a box of rocks.
He reminds me of a lot of guys I've dated. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be sitting there eating my little steak and shrimp, asking them questions, and they really, and the sad part is they really think they're intelligent. There is nothing in this world that is gonna he would fight this to his death, that he's intelligent, that he's smart, he's above average male, he's this and that. And I'm sitting here telling you, baby, you're really not. You're really not. You're getting ran circles around.
Because I was telling you about the one. What was the girl name that was on there? And she was running circles around him, like No,
Well, yeah, they had this week. It was Lady London that was on
I
there,
didn't
and
see her. 'Cause
she okay,
I haven't been watching consistently.
I don't
For the
watch it
last few months.
consistently. I look at the clips. You know, it usually when his episode comes out, he goes viral, and then we see the clips. So he was using eclectic wrong. He was saying eclectic,
Yeah.
and she was laughing and like trying to get him to to school him like you're using the wrong word. And I've been in this conversation with the guys I've dated. I'm saying, I'm sorry. My mom was very big on vocabulary and speech and things. So when I hear people say stuff, I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna correct them this
But
time. But
I
if you
think
say
that's
it
what.
too many times, it's like, what the heck? And then he didn't even take accountability to him saying the wrong word. He like, oh no, that's my word. I made up. Like, you ain't make up that word. You just used
Right.
the wrong word, and now your ego is hurt.
Yeah.
And so, it just it's just so funny. Like,
But
I'm
I think
glad
what
people
gets
seeing it.
me is that for the setup that he has and the studio and it's people in the background and all that. Like, I'm quite surprised that there's not somebody maybe in the control room or something somewhere like with a headset on that could talk to him in a headset. Like, you're saying the wrong word, is eclectic.
Yeah, I mean, they probably have a lot of those things, but like I said, I just think he is. I've met a lot of men that are like that think they're smart.
Yeah.
So they think they're smarter than what they are. Sometimes you have to be honest
Smarter than
about
the average
your
man. You okay?
smarter than average man.
You
Boo-boo.
okay?
But a smart person can realize their faults, because sometimes I have my faults. Sometimes I don't
Yeah.
have the best. I don't have the best memory. Sometimes when it comes to my short term memory is bad. Like, if somebody asks me something about today or something, I might really not know what they're talking about.
Right.
And so that's when I say, hey, I'm gonna have to put extra effort into that to cover that. But I don't think that he just has his mindset that he's just so smart and his ideas are just so great and grand, and and it's just funny to see that the internet, because I've been saying that for how long. Like, I don't think he's that, to me, I don't think he's that intelligent. Now, in certain ways, yes, to have the career that he had to be intelligent in some sort of ways, but I think he's just not the intellectual that he thinks he is.
Right. No,
And plus, y'all need to stop letting niggas with big ass suede hats act like they doing something. I'm tired of these niggas and these suede.
listen.
They put on a big old suede hat, and now they think they dang the president of the United States. Like, it's just, I don't know. I remember Neo started dressing like that, and I said, you know what?
Who likes Neo? Yeah,
He got 5 girlfriends, so somebody like him.
they like them pockets. That's what that is. Let him go broke, and
Let him go broke, and he gonna be
he gonna have
on the
zero
streets. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I really.
Let them pockets go broke, and he
Yeah,
gonna have zero girlfriend. That's what they like.
Zero, yeah. So yeah, just crazy. But yeah, that's all I really have for y'all today. I really like the show. Shout out to our guest.
Shout out to Phaedra. Shout out to Tangi. Thank y'all so much.
Yes.
Shout out to all the people who were here on the on the live. I saw the numbers. The numbers, they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, they go down. Katia, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on. I thought I saw Carla's name in there at some point or whatever, but
not sure about that, but yeah,
no,
we seen Katia. And the funny thing is,
I'm scrolling through all the comments. I didn't. I don't know why I thought I did, but I know.
And Carla's antennas was at the Funny Bone this weekend, but she went Saturday, so we didn't see her. But yeah, shout out to the Funny Bone. We had a great time. I got my mozzarella sticks, y'all. I was happy.
Absolutely. Listen, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We had a really, really good time with our guest today. We are working on next week's show. We do have Mamta Ja Mishra, who is on the cover of the new digital issue of UG Digital Magazine. She is going to be
check it out.
So make sure that you guys are watching and checking for that. I think that's going to be an amazing show. We'll have an amazing guest for you next week as well. We'll get that announced over the next couple days. You guys know that you can get me at I am James Grant and Authentically James on Instagram. And then
Instagram.
I am James Grant on all other platforms. And Miss Cat Queen.
You can follow me all platforms at Cat Queen. Also on Instagram at Cat Gotcha.
And make sure that you guys, subscribe to the network. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you get all of the updates. UGD Podcast Radio on all platforms. You guys can follow, share, and we appreciate your support. So thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Listen, we stayed on the good time frame tonight, Kev.
For once, look at us, James. We're growing. We're growing.
I think that we did amazing. Listen, because it matters, when you're doing this and when you have a guest. Not only does it obviously help our time and the flow of the show, but it also shows the guests that we actually care about the fact that we had them on the show, because we come prepared, and like we have done the research and we got all the details, we got all our notes, we done mapped everything out, we knew how much it was gonna take.
All them questions.
The questions and stuff that I sent to you, I had timeline and frame stuff on there, which works really, really good to have that stuff in place, because again, it shows the artists that you really care about what it is that you're doing, and that you appreciate them coming on, and that you are being conscientious of their time and everything too, and we're not keeping them for hours and hours.
And we are a media safe space. We're really here for the artists and our guests. So
period. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are signing out. Until next time, y'all have an amazing night. Enjoy the rest of your weeks, and we will see you here on Transcending the Culture next Wednesday. Everybody have an amazing night.
bye.